The Bond of Blood, a tale of twin brothers. Once, in a lush valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a village known for its harmony. In this village lived two brothers, twins, whose names were Tate and Femi. From the moment they entered the world, their connection was profound. Even as infants, they seemed to understand each other without words, as if their hearts beat in perfect unison. The villagers marveled at their bond, often saying, "Tate and Femi are more than brothers, they are one soul in two bodies." As children, Tate and Femi did everything together. They raced through the fields, climbed the tallest trees, and shared their dreams beneath the night sky. If one was hurt, the other felt the pain. Their parents, Papa Ade and Mama Sewa, often said that nothing could tear their sons apart. As they grew older, the twins became the pride of their village. Tate was known for his strength and bravery, while Femi was admired for his wisdom and compassion. Together, they were unstoppable. When Tate fought off wild animals to protect their crops, Femi devised plans to improve the village's harvest. Their unity was a source of inspiration for everyone around them. But as they reached the age of marriage, life began to change. Tate fell in love with a beautiful and fiery woman named Ebeni. She was strong-willed, passionate, and loved Tate fiercely. Femi, on the other hand, was drawn to a gentle and kind-hearted woman named Tolu, who balanced his thoughtful nature with her warmth and understanding. At first, their marriages brought joy to the family. The two women became friends, and the brothers' bond remained unbroken. The four of them often sat around the fire, sharing stories and laughter. But soon, as time passed, subtle differences between the wives began to surface. Ebeni, proud of her husband's strength and reputation, wanted Tate to focus on building their own legacy, separate from his brother. She believed that he should be the leader of the family, not equal to Femi. Tolu, on the other hand, cherished the unity of the family and encouraged Femi to remain close to his brother, knowing how much it meant to him. But the seeds of discord had already been planted. As months passed, small arguments between Ebeni and Tolu turned into heated confrontations. Ebeni accused Tolu of trying to overshadow Tate through Femi's wisdom, while Tolu claimed that Ebeni's pride was tearing the family apart. The brothers, caught between their love for their wives and their devotion to each other, tried to keep the peace, but the rift only widened. One evening, after a particularly intense argument between the wives, Tate and Femi found themselves standing at the edge of the forest where they had once played as children. The air was thick with tension. Tate's fists were clenched, and Femi's eyes were filled with sadness. "Tate," Femi began, his voice trembling, "we've always stood by each other. Don't let this tear us apart." Tate, torn between his loyalty to his wife and his brother, looked away. "I don't want to lose you, Femi. But Ebeni, she's my wife. I have to stand by her. And Tolu is my wife," Femi replied, his voice growing firmer. "But that doesn't mean we must become enemies. We've always found a way to protect each other. Can't we find a way through this?" The silence that followed was heavy with unspoken words. For the first time in their lives, the twins felt a distance growing between them. Tragedy soon struck. Papa Ade and Mama Sewa, the pillars of their family, both fell gravely ill. The brothers, desperate to save their parents, tried everything: herbs from the mountains, prayers at the village shrine, but nothing worked. One quiet morning, their parents passed away, leaving Tate and Femi shattered. The grief should have brought them closer, but instead, it deepened the divide. With their parents gone, Ebeni and Tolu's arguments grew fiercer. Ebeni insisted that they should leave the village and start anew elsewhere, far from Femi's influence. Tolu, heartbroken by the loss of her in-laws, wanted to stay and honor their memory by keeping the family united. The tension finally erupted into a fierce confrontation one evening. Ebeni accused Tolu of trying to manipulate Femi to take control of the family's land, while Tolu, in tears, accused Ebeni of driving a wedge between the brothers. The argument escalated until, in a moment of blind rage, Ebeni raised her hand against Tolu. Femi, who had always been calm and composed, snapped. He rushed to his wife's side, fury burning in his eyes. "Enough!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the house. "This has to end." Tate, caught between his love for his wife and loyalty to his brother, stepped forward, his heart torn in two. "Femi, she's my wife. I can't turn my back on her. And what about me, Tate?" Femi's voice broke, tears streaming down his face. "I've always stood by you. But now, you're asking me to choose between my wife and my brother. This isn't fair. A long silence followed, heavy and suffocating. Finally, Tade spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Maybe we need some time apart. Femi stared at his brother, unable to believe what he was hearing. But in his heart, he knew that things had gone too far. With a heavy heart, he nodded. Maybe you're right. And so, the brothers parted ways. Tade and Abeni left the village, while Femi and Tolu remained. The once close brothers who had shared everything from their childhood dreams to their deepest fears were now separated, not by distance but by a chasm of pain and pride. Years passed, and the village changed. New families came, and old ones left. The memory of Tade and Femi's bond became just a story that the elders told the young, a tale of how love and pride could both unite and destroy. But fate wasn't done with the brothers. One day, an unexpected illness struck Tolu, and Femi found himself alone, filled with regret and sorrow. Desperate, he sent word to Tade, who had not spoken to him in years. When Tade received the message, something inside him stirred. Memories of their childhood, of the bond they had once shared, flooded back. Without a second thought, Tade rushed back to the village. When Tade arrived, he found Femi sitting by Tolu's bedside, his face pale and his eyes hollow with grief. Without a word, Tade knelt beside his brother, taking his hand in his own. "I'm sorry, Femi," Tade whispered, his voice breaking. "For everything." Femi looked at his brother, tears welling up in his eyes. "I'm sorry too, Tade. I never wanted it to be like this." As Tolu's breathing grew weaker, the brothers sat together, united in their shared pain. In that moment, all the bitterness and pride melted away, leaving only the love that had always been there, buried beneath the scars of the past. Tolu passed away that night, but in her last moments, she saw the brothers together again, their hands clasped, their hearts finally at peace. After her death, Tade and Femi vowed never to let anything come between them again. Though the years had taken much from them, they still had each other. And in their remaining days, they worked together to rebuild what had been broken, knowing that the bond of blood, though tested by time and trials, was something worth fighting for until the very end. Hope you enjoyed the story. Moral lesson: always allow love, happiness, harmony, joy and peace to be the ultimate in every home or family. Thanks for watching. Please follow for more.